What's next for Conor McGregor? This video discusses fan ideas on what the biggest name in fighting might pursue next.
So today, what I'm going to be talking about is something that's been quite interesting in the world of both boxing and MMA. Now, as you know, on this channel...
Alright, real quick, I gotta say this before this video continues. That he's so popular. My boy right here, Mind for Combat. Please subscribe to his channel. He's a good guy, great analyst. His phone is ringing during this video, and it's like, it gets to me. It gets to me. Something about it. I love everything about your channel, my brother. But you gotta put it on airplane mode or something, man. Anyways,
I like to talk about both boxing and MMA. I'm a huge fan of both. And one star that kind of crosses over into both boundaries is Conor McGregor. Now, Conor McGregor is someone that's boxed professionally against Floyd Mayweather in probably what was the biggest pay-per-view in boxing history. He's a former two-weight world champion in the UFC. He had a massive fight with Khabib this year.
That is absolutely true. A two-weight championship in both 145, which is ridiculous to think that he actually competed in that weight class. A 155 concurrently, which is an amazing fight, probably his biggest against Eddie Alvarez. And of course, he did just have a massive Khabib fight in which he got taken down quite a lot in the rounds, especially round one and all of them really. That's very true. I love that he did include his accolades about who he is, because right now everybody knows who Conor McGregor is, but we don't know in the future. So it's kind of important to put that this guy is one of the most important figures in mixed martial arts, and his transition to boxing with Floyd Mayweather was super important in the fighting world.
And there's a lot of speculation going on what's going to happen next. Is he going to fight Paul Malignaggi in a grudge match? Is he going to fight Tenshin Nasukawa in an exhibition fight? Or is he going to return to the MMA circle and fight someone like Dustin Poirier?
All of those are great options. I love them. I think I would like to see the Paul Malignaggi fight, just out of the three options presented right there. That's a good fight, because Paulie is a really skilled boxer, and Conor McGregor just went in there with Floyd Mayweather, so that'd be an interesting fight. Tension, not as much interested. As a fight fan, I'm not as much interested. Dustin Poirier, would love to see that fight. Dustin Poirier, if anybody doesn't know who he is, fantastic martial artist who is not a world champion, but if he beats Conor McGregor, wouldn't really matter to him, I think, if he is a world champion or not, but he is of world championship caliber.
So firstly, my friend here today with me, James Buchanan. James Buchanan boxed as an amateur. He's trained vigorously throughout his entire years, and he's been a lifelong fan of boxing.
Hey, fight fans.
Real quick, look at the size of this man's bare hands. Look at that. There's some bear mitts right there. That guy catches you with those things, man, you're having a bad day. And shout out to his Let's Go Champ hat. I love that hat. That is the greatest thing.
So James, why don't you give me your thoughts on if you think Conor McGregor and Paul Malignaggi is a good fight to make?
I think that's a good fight to make, if I'm honest. I think it'd be good because I feel as if Paul Malignaggi isn't a bad boxer. He's not a bad boxer. You know, he done okay against Floyd Mayweather, although, you know, that Floyd Mayweather did get the W, he won.
You mean Conor McGregor?
Sorry, Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, yeah. So Conor McGregor is, he's a good fighter, and I feel as if he could possibly make quite a good career through boxing. However, I do feel, maybe a good grudge match against Paul Malignaggi and Conor McGregor could actually be quite good for fight fans.
Yeah, I think the build-up to the fight will be incredibly fun. I think the fight itself, I don't know if it would be competitive. I know there was the whole nonsense about the sparring, but let's be honest about this, and we've got to be genuine and realistic about this. Paul Malignaggi won 2 world titles in his career in boxing.
He did.
And now he's old, he's retired, and he's 38 years old, hasn't fought in 2 years since he got knocked out by Sam Egginton. But there's a genuine class disparity when it comes to boxing skill set. And although he held his own against Floyd in the early moments, Conor did, I can't say that Floyd didn't carry him. I can't genuinely say that Floyd I feel like Floyd could have finished that fight a lot sooner if he wanted to.
He probably could have. If I'm honest, I feel as if Floyd could have finished that a lot sooner than he wanted to, but I felt as if Floyd didn't want to take any chances and risk having a loss in his record. So he played it safe, played it cool, and he just waited for Conor McGregor to tire over the rounds and finished him when he finished him.
Yeah. So now, while a Paulie Malignaggi fight might be fun for the build-up, the Tenshin Nasukawa fight. So for those of you who don't know,
Well, I'm not sure if we continue on this point real quick, but I want to make my point here because they're making some great points about this. The Paulie Malignaggi fight. I'm sorry, Paulie Malignaggi. That's such a difficult name for me to pronounce. That fight. Yeah, he was saying that the build up to it would be fantastic, and I absolutely 100% agree. You're talking about two guys that were in a ring together and had some dirty stuff posted against one another, because Conor McGregor's camp came out first and posted a video of him getting knocked down during training, which is usually unheard of in the fighting world. Normally, fighters don't post themselves in the ring in a sparring match right before a big giant fight, particularly not against one of boxing's more well-known names. That's a really important point to stick out to. That's absolutely very true. And I want to say that, yeah, my boy right here, Mind for Combat, he's absolutely correct when he says that. I think I agree with him that Floyd probably did carry Conor, and that with James right here, my boy James Buchanan, he's also correct in that probably Floyd didn't want to take any risks in that fight against Conor McGregor, because he didn't want to risk that L on his record, on his perfect record, get the 50-0, and become the legacy that Floyd is. And I absolutely agree with those points. And I would just want to say that I really would love to see that Paulie fight versus Conor. As a MMA fan, I would still like to see that fight.
Tenshin Nasukawa is a 20-year-old supernova kickboxer. He's like 28-0 in the world kickboxing. He's 4-0 as a mixed martial artist, and he fought Floyd Mayweather. Just got knocked out in a round in an exhibition fight. Floyd outweighs him by about 30 pounds. He's about 4 inches taller than him, and the kid's only still 20 years old. Floyd got paid $9 million for that fight. Now, Conor McGregor's called him out and asked for that fight to be set up. I don't know that fight makes any sense. I feel like he's kind of walking in the footsteps of Floyd. Maybe Floyd has a bit of rent in his head. I don't know what it is. I don't see why that fight will be made. It don't make any sense to me. And Tenshin shot it down and said, Conor, get down to 58 kgs and it'll be a kickboxing match and we can fight. Obviously, he'll never get down to 58 kgs. Yeah. What do you think? That's just a waste of time.
It is a waste of time. I don't think Tenshin should really even entertain the thought of doing that fight. Conor McGregor is quite a lot bigger than him. I just start to see the point of him doing that fight. What he needs to do is, I think Conor McGregor should, have a few tune-up fights. Fight a few guys who he feels he can get and just build himself back up. And I would say the worst thing he could possibly do is rematch Khabib. That's the worst thing he could do.
That leads us nicely on to MMA. So, just to round off that subject, I want Tenshin to kickbox and box and use the Floyd Mayweather fight to build his platform and build his relevance, because he is an exciting fighter. If you guys ain't checked out none of Tenshin's other fights, please check it out. Don't judge him by the Floyd fight. He's a great prospect. He's a supernova. The kid is amazing. Now,
yeah, that's absolutely a point I want to discuss real quick. Tenshin, although I haven't seen any of his other fights, even though he suggested, my boy right here, Mind for Combat, suggested, I'm probably gonna check him out, because you don't really get to go into the ring with Floyd Mayweather unless you're some type of capable of some type of stature. So you're talking about Ricky Hatton or Conor McGregor or Manny Pacquiao in his later days. Like, these are the types of fighters that Floyd Mayweather chooses to fight against. So there's a reason that my boy Tenshin over there was getting that fight. So I'm probably going to check it out. And I think there's great points made so far.
Now, going to what I want for Conor personally, so Dana White's touched on this. He said that he thinks that a rematch between Dustin Poirier and Conor at this stage in their career makes sense. I hope that happens. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think Dustin Poirier has done well since the Conor McGregor fight. He's gone 8-1 as a lightweight. He got knocked out by Michael Johnson, but he's on the back of 4 wins, won back-to-back fight over former world champions. And Dustin Poirier is an animal. The build-up will be fun. The first build-up was fun. Conor obviously got through Dustin Poirier pretty easily in the first fight. And I'm not sure that the rematch would go the same, although I would probably pick Conor McGregor. I think that's a fight he can win. It's a fight that brings him back to relevance in the 155-pound division. And if he wants to fight Khabib again, that's a fight that will earn him a title shot. What do you think?
I agree. Just to sidetrack for just one moment, do you think Paulie Malignaggi would want to fight Conor McGregor?
Oh, 100%.
But do you think Paulie Malignaggi feels if he could win that fight? Because
100%.
he's been out of the fight game for a little while. He's not fought in a good little while, and you know he obviously he got dominated in sparring against him. And
I don't know that he did get dominated.
I don't know. I mean, the video evidence is there. He got knocked down, and
we can get into this debate as to whether he got dominated or not. But I think to me it's very obvious why only a 30-second clip was shown in a 30-second minute
that
spot.
is true.
I think they were very selective, and I tend to believe Paulie Malignaggi when he's saying that he's outboxing Conor. And I think Paulie Malignaggi was quite honest in his assessment. Let's not go into that. I think we can discuss that at greater length at another time. I think that Paulie Malignaggi thinks he can beat him. I think Paulie Malignaggi would beat him. And going back to what I think should be next for Conor, I think it should be Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, a title eliminator, while Tony Ferguson fights Khabib. What do you think? As a boxing fan, is that something you'll be excited?
I would be interested in seeing that.
Yeah.
I would like to see that. Yeah.
So fight fans, let me know what you guys think.
So just to touch on that point that he said right there. So he thinks that the next stage for the 155-pound division in the UFC should be Tony Ferguson versus Khabib and Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. And as a fight fan, that's the fight that I want to see. Exactly just like that. But as a realist, I want to say that what's probably going to happen is that Conor McGregor will never, ever, ever fight for a non-title fight until he is well into his, what do they call the MMA guys who are still competing but never at a world title level? Whatever you call those guys, that's until he reaches that point, he will never not compete for some type of title. Whether it's the greatest boxer of all time, which he just competed in, or a world title fight in the UFC, the biggest organization for MMA. I do not see him ever competing ever again. And what's next for Conor McGregor? Realistically, he owns part of the UFC now. And just to take it back a little bit of time ago, he was going to start his own MMA production. I believe it was going to be called the Mac Fights or something like that. I can't remember what it was. But he was going to do that. But now that he is an ownership stake of the UFC, I think undoubtedly he will never ever perform in MMA unless it is for a vast sum of money or to promote his new business venture, like how he promoted his whiskey company. I think that as a fight fan, I would love to see Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor, the rematch. Absolutely. Would be one of my favorite fights that of the year, probably. But as a realist, I foresee Khabib versus Tony. That fight needs to happen. No more injuries, no more tiramisu, no more nothing. It has to happen. That is the fight. That is the fight. That is the fight. And as far as Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier, unfortunately, I don't see it happening unless it's just a ridiculous sum of money. I'm talking not tension money where he gets paid $9 million. No. I'm talking about that Floyd Mayweather money where he gets paid that $100 million. If he gets $100 million, I see him fighting Dustin Poirier. But unless that happens, I really don't see that. Anyways, thank you so much for posting this, Mind for Combat, and for allowing me to go ahead and put my little spin on what you guys discussed. Love your guys' content. James, I hope to see you back again on Mind for Combat. Thank you so much for sticking out this whole video of mine, or my video reaction. Hope to see you guys next time.